Perkins Online, the Thinking Person's talk show. Now here's your host, Wilmot Mutty Perkins.
Morning, everybody. Morning, and welcome once again to Perkins Online. Well, what a weekend. Tragedy for cricket. The Pakistanis lost their coach. Terrible thing. Well, no, it's unfortunate, but it could have been a lot worse. And the first impression I had when I heard it was that, but as it turns out, or as it seems, it could have been a lot worse. But, condolences to those who have suffered great loss. And especially to his family. Back in, I think they're in Pakistan, no? Very, very sad. Anyway, some interesting things have happened. There is two men have been extradited to the United States after a long struggle in the courts. The Court of Appeal dismissed an appeal of theirs recently. I thought that the matter might have gone to the Privy Council, but action has been taken to extradite them. These are men of whom the President of the United States declared in a statement that they were drug kingpins. They were drug kingpins. Another man who was an attempt was being made to have him extradited from the Bahamas, was similarly declared a drug kingpin. And the matter came before a Jamaican judge, Mr. Justice Small, the second. Mr. Justice Hugh Small, the son of Mr. Justice Ronald Small. And he decided, no, in these circumstances it would be unjust to send a man to trial in the United States, because there was no likelihood, there was a likelihood of his not getting a fair trial. That is not the approach being taken by our Jamaican judges. What do you think, though? What do you think as Jamaicans? What do you think is the likelihood of that man, of those men, getting a fair trial in the United States? And do you think that if Jamaica had sought to have two American citizens extradited from the United States, or have been extradited to the United States, what chance you think there would have been of the United States government the United States authorities, the American courts, agreeing to have those men extradited to Jamaica? What chance do you think there would be of that? Huh? Is it that we are somehow inferior and are deserving of less protection? And you know, another interesting thing about this case was that the United States authorities did not really submit evidence, as I understand it, as was reported, did not really submit evidence of a prima facie case against these men, you know. But, you know, and there was some time ago, there was a case some years ago. I can't remember the name of the man involved. He was extradited to the United States in relation to one matter. And when he got to the United States, he was never tried on the matter in relation to which he had been extradited. He was tried on something else. Now, is that in keeping with the law in relation to extradition? You don't make a case in relation to the matter for which you intend to try this man. You talk about something else, and then when he gets there, you try him for something, for another crime. Well, I don't know. We are clearly not the equals of Americans. You know, they're higher than we are, I suppose. Poor us. Poor Jamaica. We don't hold ourselves in very high esteem. That is part of it. Not the fault of the Americans. Not at all. Now, there was also another criminal matter reported over the weekend. A 22-year-old man carnally abused a 15-year-old girl, I think it was. Not once, 3 times. In fact, he carnally abused her on 2 occasions. The matter then came to the attention of the police, and he was arrested and charged. And while out on bail, he did it again. 3rd time. And he, in court, I think he pleaded guilty, no? To the 3 charges. And his lawyer argued, or I don't know whether he said it in court himself, that he was so much in love with this girl that he could not resist her. He couldn't resist her. So he did it again. You know what did you Did you see this report in the papers? I think it was in the Gleaner. Do you know what the sentence of the court was? He got a suspended sentence, I think it was of 3 years. 3 years suspended sentence. He won't go to prison. Well, I just wonder how many other men who follow his example are likely to receive the same treatment from the court. I wonder. Suspended sentence. Charged for 2 cases of carnal abuse in relation to the same young lady. And then goes and does it again, a 3rd time. Charged in relation to that and given a 3-year suspended sentence. What a lucky man. When he came out of the court, he should have gone and bought the sweepstakes or the lottery or something. Anyway, we take a break. We come back shortly. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Dr. Peter Phillips, our Minister of National Security, spoke on, what evening was it? Wednesday evening, I think it was, at the Norman Manley Law School. The Norman Manley lecture he delivered on, well, the Norman Manley lecture, right, for 2007. I don't understand what is going on with media in this country, you know, why what he said has been so poorly reported. I heard some bits of it on Nationwide. I think it was on Thursday afternoon, evening. I think so. And I'm not sure whether I heard it also on Radio Jamaica. But I've been waiting to see it reported in the media and elsewhere. And not a word until this morning. There's some report about it in the Observer. But I don't think that the Observer piece comes across as trenchantly as Dr. Phillips spoke. I mean, he really blasted the education system. Hit out very hard. I can't remember the exact words that he used. I've been, trying to get at it on tape. And I think that when I do, I'm going to really spend a little time playing it for you. No, he really said the education system was in effect a disastrous failure. Right? And spent some time talking about it. Now I was saying to myself, when are we going to hear from Minister Maxine Henry Wilson on the disastrous failure of the security system, with all the number of murders that we're having, children being killed in their homes, more than 1,500 people being butchered all over the country in a year. And, the police doing their fair share of the killings. And no, apparently crime completely out of control. I was wondering when we were going to hear about this from Mrs. Maxine Henry Wilson. But then I get up this morning, and in the Observer is another report coming out of the Peter Phillips speech. And apparently he ain't waiting for Maxine. He's doing it himself. National Security Minister Dr. Peter Phillips says the wave of criminality and crime rocking Jamaica have made many perpetrators victims of their own actions. And among the causative factors are the failure of politics, insufficient budgetary allocation, and the education system. The failure of politics, insufficient budgetary allocation, and the education system. You realize, of course, what is going on here. Dr. Phillips, the Minister of National Security, for how many years? How many years has he now been Minister of National Security? He's not to blame. It is all the fault of the it's all the failure of politics, right? The insufficient budgetary allocation, that is Dr. Davis, and for which I sympathize with him, and the education system, right? Phillips, in a guest address to the Norman Manley Law School Students Association, Lecture 2007, at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus, on Thursday night, said one of the greatest challenges to contemporary politics was the restoration of the rule of law. Failure to do so, he said, will strangle the spirit of nationalism which many including late national hero Norman Washington Manley, spent nearly all their lives giving to Jamaica giving to Jamaica, right? Now, Dr. Phillips has been for so long Minister of National Security. And for all of the last 18 years that this government has been in office, has been a minister of the government. What is he talking about here now? We have an election coming up. Dr. Phillips isn't saying that look at what we have achieved over the last 18 years. Right? Don't you think that this country would do best to put us back, to let us do some more of what we have done? No, not saying that at all. He's saying we have been a failure over the last 18 years that we have been in government. Because if even he is saying that this problem existed in 1989, right? What would the government have done about it in the 18 years that it has been in office? From the sound of what he's saying, nothing. Right? He's now recognizing, after 18 years in office, he's now recognizing the problem. It seems for the first time, because we haven't heard this from him before. Right? According to the minister, the country must cease practicing the politics of paralysis and begin a massive national effort to revolutionize the education system started by N.W. Manley. After 18 years, right, in office, enjoying power and being paid by the people of this country, Dr. Phillips suddenly recognizes the need for a national effort to revolutionize the education system started by Norman Manley. Which education system is that Norman Manley started? What do we have in our education system today that we didn't have before Norman Manley came to office? I don't know what education system this is. Phillips, because what little education I have, and I got it long before Norman Manley became anywhere near to being premier. And I every night before I go to my bed, I think about my teachers. Phillips, in his lecture, I'm being asked to take a break. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online, and we've been looking at Dr. Phillips's wonderful discovery. After 18 years in office, he now recognizes that something needs to be done about the politics, the education system, and the security system, of which he has had responsibility, the security matters, over the last several years. I can't remember exactly when. Was it, I think it may have been after 2002, was it? I can't remember. Phillips, in his lecture titled Contemporary Challenges in Nation Building, Politics and the Rule of Law, said in many urban communities, small armies of young men armed with high-powered weapons marauded at will. Marauded at will and repel all but the most intensive efforts of the country's security forces to impose where is it now? I don't know. Having difficulty finding it. Anyway, order on them, whatever. Impose challenges to contemporary politics. No. Impose, I beg your pardon, to impose the rule of law, right? And he goes on in that. But what I want to get to is where he fires at Dr. Davis, man. He argued, this is low down in the report, he argued that there was an obvious and mounting social alienation through the failings of the educational system, which has resulted in the erosion of family structures. A failure of the educational system leading to an erosion of family structures. This, he said, had been directly linked to the urbanization of the society, which has led to the consolidation of a mainly urban underclass of unemployed or underemployed and uneducated youth, devoid of any supportive family structure, who today are the main contributors to criminal activity. Right? What an awful situation he's describing. First of all, there is the lack of education. Secondly, there's the lack of employment. Right? So this isn't just a matter of the family not doing its job. This is a matter of the family itself being destroyed by the situation created in the country by government policy. Right? Turning to the role of politics as a where is it now? As a major player in the violence, Dr. Phillips said the emergence of organized political violence, towards the end of the 1960s. Oh. Boy, he chooses his dates arbitrarily, my son. And the growth of I suppose what he means is that it really flourished in the 1970s, right? And reached some levels that it had not reached before. And he's attributing that to something that happened at the end of the 1960s. Anyway, to 1960s, and the growth of politically affiliated criminal gangs had the effect, first of all, of legitimizing the use of violence as the means of activating personal or collective objectives. The path of the restoration of law and order, he said, has been stymied by budgetary outlays which have not kept pace with the increasing security problem. And in real terms, the budgetary outlays have been stagnant over the past 30 years. Right? So one gets the impression that, everybody else in the government bears responsibility for it, with the possible exception of except for Dr. Phillips himself. He can't do anything because his hands are tied by an inadequate budget. Right? So why has he remained this long as Minister of National Security? Why didn't he come out and tell the country he was very sorry? He couldn't continue because it wasn't possible to do the job that needed to be done because of the inadequate budgetary provisions. Very odd. But I tell you something. I don't know. I was going to say that the Labour Party should just sit by and applaud when they hear all this. Okay, let's go to our calls and hear what you have chatted enough for the morning. Hello?
Good morning, Mutty.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing, sir? How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Okay, sir. Happy World Cup cricket to you.
You have what?
I said happy World Cup cricket to you, sir.
Forget it.
Okay.
I am not in that.
Anyway, the reason why I call you, say, I went to the Lacovia police lockup on Saturday.
The lockup?
To visit somebody.
To do what?
To visit a lady. And Mutty, the condition that I saw down there, it is unbearable.
Yeah.
The lady was there from Friday, and I understand she will be there until the 28th of this month. And in that jail cell, along with some other ladies, they have to sleep on the pure cold concrete.
Oh my God.
And that lady is a big enough lady, about 55, 56. And she's very sick.
She's very sick?
And she's there on the cold floor from Friday, and she will be here until the 28th of this month.
This is COVID?
Lacovia.
COVID to be sure.
Now, that lady probably not going to survive until the 28th. If they remain in that condition.
Oh, God. Well, Dr. Phillips will probably tell you that it's because of the inadequacy of the budget that is available.
Can go on there and give her some medical attention.
Eh?
And hope him can go on there and give her some medical attention.
What is the charge against her?
Well, she have a 13-year-old daughter, which for some reason she not behaving, and them hold she and her other daughter responsible for it. So there was a court hearing Friday gone.
Uh-huh.
So they said the judge remand her until the 28th for another hearing.
She's remanded in custody because her daughter is not behaving. Eh?
Yeah.
And she's said to be responsible. You mean her daughter is there some sexual matter involved?
Yeah.
Eh? I see. And she's remanded in custody.
Yes. Which one of her bigger daughter told me that in Balaclava they reported this incident to the Balaclava police and asked the police to take control of the girl, and the police sent her back at home.
Oh, is that so?
So I don't see why the Lacova police should have her locked up, or the judge should have remanded her without no bail in that condition. Since the police already know about the situation.
Well, did you read that story in the papers on Saturday about this man who had committed 3 acts of carnal abuse against
I didn't.
Against a girl?
No, I didn't read it.
He was given a suspended sentence, not going to jail at all.
Oh boy.
But she's locked up and sleeping on cold concrete.
Yeah, that is my main concern.
Boy.
And the police did, because one of her daughter told me when she talked to the police about the condition that her mother in, one of the police ladies said, them for suffer.
Them for suffer? Hold on just a moment for you. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online.
Oh yeah, Mutty.
Look here, have you thought of, has she got a lawyer?
No, sir.
Eh?
No.
Well, she needs some legal help, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And maybe if she has a lawyer, they could make an application for bail.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know why she should not be granted bail. Her daughter is arrested too?
Yes.
That is the older daughter.
Yeah.
Who is oh boy.
And you see, the other thing, when I saw the condition, you see, I said to the policeman, I said, I have a piece of carpet thing in the back of my car. Can I give it to her to ease her off of the cold ground? Him said, no, them cannot take anything. You know?
No.
And then one of the daughters said to me, she brings some cardboard and thing for her to zero up. And the policeman take it and he didn't give it to her because she'd clean up her corner down there. See me?
They took it and did what?
A piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
They bring a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
And ask me if her mother can take it inside to lay down pan. And the policeman collect it from her. And them still don't give it to her because the corner lean up down there when I go down there.
Well, you know, sir.
So she's still there on the floor now.
We talk about celebrating the end of slavery.
Yeah.
Right? But what is happening is that the same disregard, the same view that the slave traders and the slave owners had of the slaves is the same view that those in this country who have power have of those little people, except of course once every 5 years when they need their votes.
Yes.
You know?
But Mutty, which one of the slavery we emancipated from, the mental or the physical?
The physical.
Oh.
And I tell you something. It is the British Parliament that put an end to slavery.
Yeah.
Right? In countries like Jamaica.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure that if it had been left to us, you know.
Yeah. And that place look like something is leaking. You know?
They sell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Leaking from the roof.
Well, Dr. Phillips is telling you, and I think he's quite right on this, about the stagnation of the budgetary commitment to security.
Yeah.
Over the last 30 years. Right? Certainly for the years that he and his government have been in office. Right? The budget has been, the government has been in no position to provide the funds needed for facilities like these.
Yeah.
Right? Because Dr. Davis is busy doing other things with those funds.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
he's borrowing money like borrowing is going out of style. And God alone knows what is happening to the money.
Yeah, World Cup cricket. World Cup cricket, man.
Well, World Cup cricket got some of it, but, you know. No, it's a terrible situation, and when you, have you heard what Dr. Phillips has said?
No, sir.
Well, look it up. It's in the Observer, this morning.
Yes. And as for the World Cup cricket, you know, I think not only just the cricket, but like football and other thing that's supposed to be worldwide thing.
Yes.
They're supposed to host those in Jamaica every year and change the venues.
Yes.
Like Tivoli Garden, Mountain View, Jonestown. Host it there. And probably we can curb crime from there, sir.
Anyway, that woman needs a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay?
Alright, Mutty, have a
all
nice
right,
day.
all the best.
Okay.
What a disgrace. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Perkins.
How
are you this morning?
Not too bad.
Okay. I don't know if you was listening Cliff Hughes program on Friday. He was saying that this Councillor Lydehill, was saying that he have a run-ins with DK Duncan down by the hotel.
Yes, I know. They had a dispute.
And he was saying that
have a dispute.
Dr. Duncan said that any PNP who didn't support the finance minister, he doesn't want anything to do with them.
Well, Dr. Duncan denied it. Subsequently.
He denied it?
He denied it on the program.
Okay.
Yes, but Councillor Hill did say that of him, yes.
Okay. Don't you think something is still going on in that party, Mr. P?
Well, are you surprised? I mean, my impression is that they have not been able to heal the differences between them.
With what I just heard you saying about what Peter Phillips said.
Yes.
You can see that something is still going on because I think is the government is attacking.
Well, that is quite true. Yes. It's the government that has failed.
Right, because he must mean his government, because after 18 years I don't think he's talking about the jail.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
and but what is his own intention? I mean, this almost seems, I mean, as if, hearing him make a speech like this, if I heard tomorrow morning that he had applied for membership in the JLP,
you're not surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think something is still going on as much as
because what he's saying is that the government's policies have been a failure.
Right. I think they still have some problem going on inside the party, I don't think they resolve it.
I don't know, sir.
Anyways,
I'm surprised though that he's running again for the PNP and probably hoping to continue as Minister of National Security if they win. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, sir, P, take care.
All right, all the best to you. Okay, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, yes? Yes, good afternoon. Good morning.
Yes, I just would like to share something with you.
No, I'm not hearing you at all. I don't know what's going wrong. Hello?
I'm calling from overseas. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
I just would like to share something with you that I think is very interesting.
Yes.
I recently shipped a box through Air Jamaica Cargo.
I didn't get that. Eh?
Hello?
Yes. You said something about cargo?
Yes, Air Jamaica Cargo.
Uh-huh. Air Jamaica.
I recently shipped a box through Air Jamaica Cargo 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
Up on my arrival in Jamaica to clear my box, all my stuff was stolen out from Air Jamaica, and nobody can give account for that.
Oh, is that so?
Yes. And I just leave Jamaica on Saturday, and upon doing so, still yet nobody from Air Jamaica Cargo has gotten in touch with me. And I shipped a box of perfume, and all the stuff was gone.
Hold on. You left,
and nobody can give count for it.
That cargo was cargo that you were taking out of Jamaica, right?
Yes, to Jamaica. I shipped it from Air Jamaica Cargo in Fort Lauderdale to Kingston, Jamaica.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
And
were you traveling with...
when I got to Kingston, Jamaica, on the 14th, they detained my stuff, and when I went there on the 15th to clear my stuff, all my stuff was stolen. And nobody can give account for that.
All right. So what has Air Jamaica said to you about it?
Air Jamaica is blaming Customs, and Customs is blaming Air Jamaica.
Oh.
I put in a claim. They said that claim will take up to 6 weeks before
yes,
they can do anything,
but hold on a little bit.
They need to view a videotape to see.
Hold on a moment for me. Hold on a moment for me, please. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here with you, Mom. Now, tell me something.
Yes.
Hello? Do you have a record of what it was that you had in that container?
I had a box of perfumes, a box filled with perfumes.
Yes, but you didn't have a statement of what it was that was in the box.
I have a statement stating from Fort Lauderdale what was in the box.
Oh, they
I shipped it from Fort Lauderdale to Kingston.
And they had in Fort Lauderdale the contents of the box.
Yes.
Am I right?
And on the 14th, when I went to Kingston to get my to clear the box, actually my husband went on the 13th to get it, and they detained the box.
Yes.
So they said they need receipts and so on. So I came there on the 14th. On the 14th, I went there. He went in first because they didn't allow us both to go in. And when he came back and he said, all your stuff are gone. Most of your stuff are gone.
Was there evidence?
Said, we have to view the video.
Hold on a minute. Was there on the face of the box evidence of it being broken into?
Yes.
What was that?
The box was open when we got there.
It was open.
When we got there.
It was open.
Yes, it was open.
I see.
They took what they needed to take out of it.
Then let me ask you. You say that Air Jamaica is blaming the customs?
Customs is blaming Air Jamaica. Air Jamaica is blaming Customs.
Yes, but hold on, Mom. You didn't give your box. You didn't give your box to the customs. You gave it to Air Jamaica.
No, I didn't.
I beg your pardon?
To Air Jamaica Cargo.
So Air Jamaica had responsibility for it. Now what would customs have had to do with the box until you came there to clear it?
Customs was the one who detained the box.
Eh?
They detained the box, stated that they need to see receipt, proof of receipt for the stuff to know how much.
Who detained the box? Hold on. Who detained the box?
Customs did.
But who gave it to them to detain? I mean, the box should have been in the custody of Air Jamaica until you came to clear it.
Right.
So why would customs have had access to the box prior to your coming there?
Hold on 1 second. Hello?
Hello? Yes. Hello?
Yes, sir. Okay, the reason why customs had access to the box because they were the one who had to clear the box from.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Yes, sir, but why would customs have had custody of the box before you came to clear it?
Okay, inside the warehouse where you clear the boxes, they're like custom officer, they're the one that inspect the box, open it, price it, and then we went back
But
to
that would be in your presence.
Yeah.
Eh?
They opened the box in front of your person. That's the reason why when we went back to clear the box, the custom officer, he was aware that the box was broken into, because when he first inspected the box, everything was there. But when we went back there to clear the box, he was the one that said, wow, I saw it. Because he was the one that actually inspected the box before it went back to the warehouse.
Uh-huh. Well, I tell you what, I suggest that you get in touch with Air Jamaica and ask them what they're prepared to do about this. And if what they're prepared to do does not satisfy you, then you take some action against them. Right?
Okay.
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 Hello?
Thank you so much.
Yes, good. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Mr. Perkins, morning.
Uh-huh.
Listen, the exact adjective that Peter Phillips used to describe the education system was abysmal.
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 Lovely.
Now,
yes.
Mr. Perkins, it normally takes you, any social scientist will tell you, it takes you around 20 years to get the real payoff from your education system.
Yes, indeed.
Any investment you make, 20 years before you get any payoff.
Yes.
This government has been in office now for over 18 years.
Yes.
But you see, Dr. Phillips can sell this to the audience, because we are addicted to hypocrisy.
Uh-huh.
We find the truth very inconvenient. And we have demanded so little of our leaders that we're now lacking in leadership in the country.
But hold on a little bit now. Hold on a little bit for me. Over the weekend, there was a news report concerning the, the cabinet,
The retreat.
Retreat.
Yes.
A 2-day retreat that they had had.
Yes, they announced it last week.
Uh-huh. And the decision coming out of that retreat that steps would be taken which would transform Jamaica into a first world country in 20 years.
But haven't you heard it before?
Eh?
Didn't we hear that 20 odd years ago?
No, I didn't hear that. I heard Mr. Knight when he was a minister.
Yes.
I can't remember what minister he was at the time. But he spoke about Jamaica becoming a first world country by, when was it, 2015 or something like this?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And then you remember that in 1996, the government presented a new industrial policy.
Yes.
By which Jamaica would grow. Jamaica's economy would grow at the rate of 6% per annum.
Yes.
And by 2010,
yes,
Jamaica would achieve the per capita income that Barbados had in 2005.
That's 3 years
in 1995.
Yes.
Right? 1995. This was presented in 1996.
Yes.
Now the economy has not grown cumulatively 6%.
It hasn't.
Since then.
Exactly.
So there's no chance of
and there's no likelihood of it even growing.
Precisely.
I hear everybody talking about this closing of this jockey factory down in Sandy Bay.
Yes.
Jockey has been threatening for many years.
Yes.
And it's not just 500 people that are going to be losing income. Might be 500 plus directly.
Yes.
But the whole community of Sandy Bay
but of course
depends on that factory.
Yes.
So it's quite a few people are going to be hurt.
Well, it depends on the purchasing power.
Yeah, and then
of the people who are working there.
And then the other factory up in Lucy is on borrowed time.
Yes. Yes. And not only that, Jamaica has been losing such investments for quite some time.
Yes.
Right?
Boy, Mr. Perkins, it's rough. But listen, I also want to bring your attention to a matter that I know you don't like to discuss matters in the courts.
Uh-huh.
But there is a case before the courts It had to do with an incident up in the top of Stony Hill there.
Yes.
Where a young fella was killed.
Oh, yes.
Now, that case came up week before last.
Uh-huh.
And it was put back because
the witnesses could not be found.
The witnesses didn't turn up.
Uh-huh.
Now, I can tell you that there is open intimidation taking place in that community that is forcing people to flee the community. And there is there's a likelihood that this
be careful now. Be very careful.
I can tell you that because I know of people that have had to leave the community.
Have you brought this to the attention of the police?
I have directed them to the police to report the matter. They have done so, and when they did that, they were even more scared. But this is happening, and my suggestion to you is to watch that one carefully.
Uh-huh.
Watch that case very carefully.
Well, sir.
Because Dr. Phillips, in his Norman Manley lecture, spoke about the politics, how the politics and crime
are intertwined.
And if you remember, there were some members of his supporters that was involved in this incident.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Perkins.
The educational system is abysmal.
Abysmal.
My God.
Abysmal. After 18 years, it's abysmal.
But when I heard that, I was wondering what Maxine Henry Wilson was coming to say about the security system.
I was very surprised at the very strident language that he used.
Yes.
Because Maxine was one of his staunchest supporters.
But yes.
What, they don't discuss these things in cabinet?
Well, I don't know.
They don't discuss these matters in cabinet.
But, I mean, I get the impression that speech sounded almost like a campaign speech.
I'm trying to figure it out because it's all over the place. I mean, he's hitting
a campaign speech for the Labour Party.
He's hitting at Dr. Davis. He's hitting at the Education Minister.
Yes.
I mean, he's hitting at PJ Patterson.
Yes.
Very hard.
Boy.
I am confused.
And look at what coverage the media has given it.
Very little. I thought I heard something this morning on the Breakfast Club, some smithering of it, but I didn't quite listen to it.
They had him on, yes.
Oh, they had him on.
They had him on.
So.
But they didn't, they didn't really sort of...
No, why would you want to, to rub his nose in that kind of stuff?
In fact, there was no mention of the educational
yes, there would
aspects
be.
of it.
There wouldn't be.
As I remember.
There wouldn't be.
Boy.
But boy, he has the perfect audience because we are addicted to the hypocrisy,
I beg your pardon?
I said he has the perfect audience. We are addicted to the hypocrisy.
Yes.
We like to lap it up, man.
Hold on just a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back online. Hello? Hello?
Uncle.
Hi, how are we?
How is everything, my brother? How is everything, man?
Not too bad. How are you?
Not bad.
Look here, did I see a headline in the papers this morning? I forgot to read the story. In which the headline seemed to be quoting Mr. Vaz as saying that West Portland had become a GLP garrison.
That is the reason why I call you. Listening to you over the years, I've learned a lot. I heard you talk about spending your first years in journalism at the Gleaner.
Yes.
And as a young journalist, and you have learned a lot from senior people you have went to the Gleaner to meet there. What we have noticed over the years, and I've heard you also mention about it, that the younger journalists today, the way in which they make their report, give you the impression that they seem to have not learning the job from guys like you. On many occasions, I've heard you say on your program where this report seemed to be bad report because they are not accurately reporting what they have been hearing. They seem to give a total different impression. Because that meeting on Saturday evening, Mr. Perkins, I were there. And I were the second speaker at that meeting. And that meeting take place in Buffby. I think it was Lynch Park.
Yes.
You must hear about the Lynch Park. Yes. And Mr. Perkins, Mr. Vaz were talking firstly, you know that the
Where is Lynch Park? Where is Lynch Park?
At Lynch Park, it is in Buffby just before you reach the big bridge to go into the town of Buffby on your left hand. That is where the old GLP office is. And you know that the election can be any time now.
Yes.
And you know that all the candidates them are doing canvassing of their seat. The PNP have gone through their own about 3 weeks now. The General Secretary talk about it, but it doesn't go into detail to give the public what the findings are of the canvassing, which they do. Mr. Vaz was saying at the meeting about the lead in which he is at now in West Portland. Well, the GLP canvassing were showing the GLP canvass, what you call the party workers there.
Yes.
They canvassed the list before Doreen Favre resigned. And that were showing them leading Doreen Favre by some 3,000 others. Well, since Mr. Dabdu have come into West Portland,
yes,
the new canvassing now is showing Darryl Vaz leading by nearly 5,000. It might need about a 50-odd vote to 5,000.
Yes.
So he were talking about that and making, because it was a meeting which they have private session, then public session, because it was a meeting of the Buffby division. So you would not bring in like Hope Bay, St. Margaret's Bay, and Ballacare division to join Buffby, because you want to get an accurate reading of what the different division strengths are. So if you have a divisional meeting for the Buffby division, they would have just confine it to Buffby GLP supporters only. And Mr. Perkins, the turnout at that divisional conference on Saturday were first class, man.
Yes, but did Mr. Vaz say that West Portland had become a PNP, a JLP garrison?
I am telling you that there is no truth in that reporting. It was a totally misleading reporting, total different thing from what Mr. Vaz have said at the meeting. You understand? Because I am not going off hearsay. So when I saw this thing on A10 of the Gleaner.
It's in the Gleaner?
Yes, A10. Page A10. I say I have to call you to make you and your listener, you saw it in the Gleaner, and I certain know other people would, because you know the Gleaner is the #1 paper for Jamaica, this paper.
Is it really?
Yes, man. So you have a lot of read the Gleaner daily. So I call you now to make you know that there is no way Mr. Vaz mentioned, and Mr. Vaz starts speaking exactly 7:30 Saturday evening. And he finished exactly 10 minutes past 8. And through that 40-minute presentation, at no time did the word garrison come out of his mouth. As a matter of fact, none of the speakers who speak at that meeting on Saturday, at no time did any one of them mention garrison out of their mouth, Mr. Perkins. Because Mr. Vaz never present at the private session. He arrived exactly 5 minutes past 6 Saturday evening. And the public session start exactly 6:30, Mr. Perkins. And at no time did Mr. Vaz or any other speaker mention the word garrison out of their mouth. The person who chaired that meeting were Rupert Kelly, the former mayor for Portland.
Yes.
You understand me? And at no time did TVJ were there, CVM were there, and I just see the Gleaner reporter were there. And even reporter from other stations were there, which I won't call any name. And there's no way they can present a tape clip of Mr. Vaz or any other speaker mention the word garrison out of their mouth, Mr. Perkins. And I have no reason to lie or to mislead. It's just sad to know that the reporter who went to that meeting which you yourself from time to time.
But this reporter, his name is here, is Garth Davis.
He totally. Many time on your program you say the same thing, Mr. Perkins. That reporters have given a totally different opinion of what taking place. You have said it on your program many times. Sometimes I heard even you when reporters is complaining and police giving us statement pertaining accident, shooting also. And you yourself as to complain the way all the Gleaner have bring it across. All right, Mr. Perkins? Do I right when I say that?
Yes, I have criticized media quite a bit.
You understand, you know? Because even your friend were in Portland on Saturday, Mr. Dabdu were there, and he were talking to a handful of supporters up the road, and they were telling him that to be honest with him, they are GLP supporters, and they seen him as a refugee in Portland. Yes, they were saying to Mr. Dabdu that when refugees boat stray on water from Haiti, the first place they wash up on shore is in Portland. And they were saying to Mr. Dabdu, where's the boat? Because I look as if he wash up on the shore of Portland. You understand me? And when the GLP supporters who were saying that to Mr. Dabdu said, it is very difficult to find a couple PNP supporters in West Portland. You understand me? And you yourself would have recognized that by now.
Yes.
That it would have been very difficult to find some PNP supporters in West Portland because of the way the place have been totally run down. Mr. Dabdu mentioned that at his party meeting them having birthday the other day. You yourself say look like Mr. Dabdu were giving the GLP something to work with. You remember?
Yes.
You understand me? The speech in which he said, all right, you remember Mr. Dabdu said that the education system in West Portland need to be worked at, and Peter Phillips come out for the weekend and say the same thing? You remember hearing that? You understand me?
Here, hold on a little bit now. I am reading the story as we talk.
Yes.
Right? And I reached, I read the first, right? Paragraph. Paragraph 2. Paragraph 3. Right? Paragraph 4.
Yes.
Right? And I haven't yet come, and that in paragraph 4, Mr. Vaz is speaking about the success of his camp.
Yes.
And I haven't seen where he said that it is a garrison.
Exactly.
Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here with you, sir.
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, I have found it where he's quoting Mr. Vaz as saying West Portland is now a garrison. But that comes quite close to the end of the story.
Mr. Vaz never say any such thing.
West Portland is now a garrison. Well, he's saying that how he says, I am confident that I will win.
By some 3,000
this seat by at least 3,000 votes.
Yes.
In the upcoming general election.
Yes.
West Portland is now a garrison.
No.
And I will also, and I also intend to work closely with my counterpart, Dennis Wright, in East Portland, to secure both seats for the JLP,
Yes.
Mr. Vaz said.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that is way down. After that comes 1, 2 paragraphs. Right?
Mr. Perkins.
Third to last paragraph.
Mr. Perkins.
Now, I should have thought that, I mean, if I had heard Mr. Vaz say that, that West Portland is now a garrison, right? That would have been in paragraph 1 of the story.
Mr. Perkins, the mic in which Mr. Vaz hold in his hand when he make his speech, a certain radio station have a tape in which they clip onto that mic and tape the entire speech of Mr. Vaz. And the tape is there to prove it.
Which radio station is that?
I think it's RGR. And the tape is there to prove it, Mr. Perkins, that the word garrison didn't come out of Mr. Vaz's mouth at no time. Because Mr. Vaz keep on mentioning that he is running a certain quality of decency and a high standard level of campaigning. He always mentioned that. And so far, it is proven that his campaigning so far in West Portland is very decent. May I tell you something, Mr. Perkins? The two political parties have signed a code of conduct in which candidates are to conduct themselves throughout the campaign from 2002. The first person to break that code of conduct were Mr. Dabdoo. The first time he arrived in West Portland and opened his mouth and his campaign, he called Mr. Vaz boy.
Boy?
Yes.
That is a breach of the
Then come on now, Mr. Perkins. If you as a leader, you know you have supporters who do strange things.
A boy is just a young man.
Well, Mr. Perkins. Mr. Perkins. If you as a leader stand up in the presence of supporters and call your opponent a boy, does that would at any time give...
But was that taken up by the ombudsman?
Well...
I should not have thought so.
You understand me?
Yes.
And that was what you call an indisciplined attitude of the PNP candidate. And Mr. Vaz, at no time after that, come on his political platform and give the impression that he bitterly against that. All he say, they call him boy, him ignoring it, and he is running a distant level of campaigning. And so far, Mr. Perkins, nobody can ever say that pin drop or stone throw in West Portland under the leadership of Darry Vaz. You understand?
But I was amazed to see this headline this morning. And what is more, to see where it was put in the paper. Because if Mr. Vaz said that.
What I would love to do is to use this opportunity to say to the Gleaner to print tomorrow their apology and sorry of that big error they have made about a man who at no time mentioned any such word garrison out of his mouth. You understand me? And I hope and I know the Gleaner will do it tomorrow, because there is no evidence that reporter can bring forward to put on the table and say, here is the evidence Mr. Vaz used the word garrison out of his mouth.
Well, I don't know, sir. I find it amazing that a newspaper could have published a story like, well, first of all, the reporter could have written that story if Mr. Vaz did not say that. And secondly, I find it very odd that if Mr. Vaz did say that, that it would have been buried in at paragraph, well, third to the last paragraph, and only resurrected by a headline.
You understand?
But thirdly, I should have expected it to have pushed this story about Frankson slams TNT again. I should have expected that to be pushed off the front page. This a hell in the context of Jamaican politics.
Yes, sir.
It is a hell of a statement for any politician to have made. You know? And I mean, if Mr. Vaz did not say that, it is a piece of gross irresponsibility on the part of the Gleaner to publish it.
Mr. Perkins, it just brings me back to something, you know. You remember about 3 weeks ago, when you read an article on your program of a particular well-known Jamaican, try to give the impression that the violence against the police today were at the feet.
What?
When you read that article of this person giving the impression that the murdering of policemen, he want to put it at the feet of certain political party.
Yes.
And I say to you on your program, Mr. Perkins, that there is a plan to target some seat in which certain GLP candidates are doing well. You remember I said on your program after coming on and talk to you about that, Mr. Perkins? And Saturday when I speak at Buffy at the conference, I say to these supporters there that there is a plan to target about 10 seats across the island in which the JLP candidates are doing well. And I say to them, don't surprise tomorrow morning if you wake up and see they start to say some things about even your own candidate, Darry Vaz, who is doing well. I said in my speech on Saturday.
Oh, well.
So what you see in the Gleaner now is proven that what I'm saying, I am right there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, I would like to hear the reporter on this subject.
So this does not surprise me. That is a plan, Mr. Perkins. You understand? Because the canvassing in which the PNP workers them have done the other day have shown the JLP clearly ahead in 35 seats.
Well, I wonder on what the reporter relied. I mean, did he have a tape recorder?
No, Mr. Perkins. This thing, it is a plan. And we are expecting to see more and even worse than this. You understand? But as the people have said to Mr. Vaz that this election belongs to them. And they are the one who are determined that Darry Vaz is going to win that seat. And they say, Mr. Vaz, you can't stop we from support you because your working which you is doing in West Portland at the present moment is greater than a member of parliament work.
All right, sir.
He's the most active caretaker throughout the entire Jamaica at this moment. Mr. Perkins.
All right, sir.
Take care of yourself.
All the best to you. Incidentally, a story that I should have spoken about. The story that appeared in the Observer yesterday about homosexuals in the police force. What is the point of that? What if there are homosexuals in the police force? As long as they behave well, and although, I mean, there are suggestions made there that some of them are, you know, doing a little hanky-panky and getting away with it. And yes, and officers are quoted as supporting this. But as far as the homosexual, but then on the other hand, heterosexuals in the police force might commit unlawful heterosexual acts. So we don't know. I mean, I have no evidence in relation to that, but the mere fact of the person being homosexual is not a reason for them to be excluded from the police force. I don't think so. But you know, we can't make up our minds whether we want to be a homophobic society or a rational liberal one, you know. Anyway, we talk some more about that. Time for the news. We'll be back here in about 20 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. And we have a statement from Mr. Frank Phipps, QC, which we're going to be reading for you in a moment. But we'll make it stay until after the break. I started discussing that matter published in the Observer yesterday about homosexuality in the police force. Now, what is wrong with that? If somebody is a homosexual, does that mean that he can't be in the police force? Can't be in the civil service? Can't be a judge of the Court of Appeal? Can't be whatever? That's nonsense. Provided he does his work properly and behaves himself appropriately, there's nothing wrong with him being a policeman or whatever. Of course, the story contains some suggestions that there were policemen who were homosexuals who were misbehaving along homosexual lines, and indeed committing criminal offences, and that this was known and nothing was being done about it. No, that is a different matter. We take a break. We come back shortly.
My mother say, me go pass my exam because me have brain poor. Mother's poor patty make me strong so me can learn at school. But teacher say me chat too much.
The time by Mother's Power Patchy is
12:31.
I want your name just start. Cable and wireless card. Use it a yard and broad. Local and international. Make a shit to the UK, Canada, US. Then from US, Canada, UK, back to yard. Them a go on.
That's right. Just Talk has a great offer just for cricket. From March 1 to May 1, buy a $500 Just Talk cricket card and get an additional 10% credit free.
Get one, get with it. Once you're in it, you win it. Easy. Sound it. New cable and wireless card. It name Just Talk. So go get one. Conditions apply. Testing monthly. Use it for any phone and every phone. Sound it.
Nasty, troublesome cough. Give it something you can really feel working. Cavonia. Cough medicine with clout.
Now there's a remedy you can rely on for troublesome cough and blocked, stuffy nose. Cavonia. Mentholated cough mixture. Nighttime formula. Bronchial balsam and throat spray. Blocked, stuffy nose? Give it something you can really feel working. Cavonia. Made in England by Thornton and Ross and distributed by Medimpex Jamaica Limited.
You're listening to Perkins Online, the Thinking Person's Talk Show. Our phone numbers are 968-4901, 968-4902, 968-4903. Our local toll-free line is 1-888-991-4072. Or you may call our international toll-free line, courtesy of the People's Telecom of Jamaica Limited, winners of the prestigious Jamaica Milestone Award on 1-866-LINK-106. That's 1-866-5465-106. You can also log on and listen to Perkins Online live on the World Wide Web free at www.go-jamaica.com. Now back to Perkins Online on Power 106 FM.
Okay, thank you very much. We're back, and I was telling you about that statement from Mr. Frank Phipps, QC. He represented these two men, I think, who were extradited on, I believe, on Sunday evening. You'll hear it in his statement in a moment. But listen to this.
To all media, statement on extradition by Frank Phipps, 19th March 2007. I'm astonished by the manner in which the Minister of Justice rushed to send Donovan Williams out of Jamaica for trial in the United States.
Oh, Donovan Williams.
Williams had been in custody at the Horizon Remand Center from March 3, 2004, while the application for his extradition to the United States went through the courts. The Court of Appeal dismissed his appeal at 12:30 p.m. on Friday last, and by 7 o'clock on Sunday morning, he was whisked from his own country to an uncertain future in a foreign state. This was an insensitive way for a citizen to be treated by his government, and an example of the cavalier way in which human rights are treated in Jamaica. As the lead counsel for Donovan Williams in the extradition proceedings, I wish to register my strongest objection to this inconsiderate treatment of my client. A history puts the matter in perspective. Donovan Williams was arrested on a provisional warrant on March 3, 2004. The documents in support of his extradition were received at the Ministry of Justice on April 28, and the Minister signed his authority to proceed on April 30, which allowed him little time to consider the evidence presented in support of the application. It is of utmost importance that a minister should give deep thought to the evidence presented by a foreign state in a request for extradition of a citizen before he issues his order for the courts to review the legal aspects of the application. More so in this case, where the evidence alleged a conspiracy in Jamaica for an illegal purpose in the United States. It is amazing to realize that there is obviously no confidence in the Jamaican system when there was no prosecution in Jamaica for the offense alleged to have been committed here, but instead allowed extradition for the trial in the USA. The extradition proceedings against Donovan Williams took 27 months in the courts before the final judgment on Friday, March 16. After the judicial process, there was another opportunity for the minister to consider and weigh the case as it bears on Williams's qualified constitutional right not to be extradited from Jamaica. The minister must again have acted with unseemly haste when signing the warrant to allow Williams's removal on Sunday morning. In this rush, no opportunity was afforded for his lawyers to consider the judgment of the Court of Appeal, to be able to properly advise him on the legal implications and to receive instructions. What is also of significance is the fact that there is at present an appeal to the Privy Council for a declaration that the Extradition Act is unconstitutional, and it would be illegal to send anyone out of Jamaica for trial in another country. Incidentally, the Court of Appeal has granted leave for this appeal. These considerations should weigh heavily on the minister before he ordered the removal of a citizen of Jamaica. For the purpose of this statement is not to question the legality of the minister's action or the quality of the judgment of the courts, which anyway would not have been possible in the available time. The statement is to bring to public attention action that deprives a citizen of minimal consideration of his rights. No one should be sent from Jamaica, even after the legal process is exhausted, without the subject having the opportunity to consult his lawyers to receive further advice on his position. Not only Donovan himself must feel that he has been harshly dealt with, but his wife and children must also have suffered hurt from this heartless treatment, which deprived them of an opportunity to see the family, to set the family affairs in orders before he was sent out of Jamaica. It is my sincere wish that the government of Jamaica will exhibit more concern and consideration for the best interests of the citizens of the country, in preference to the interests of another country, and further will ensure that this type of insensitive action will never be taken again. End of statement.
Mr. Phipps, I think I disagree with you on that last point. Because if the government of Jamaica has now to have it suggested to them, is now going to be considering for the first time its obligations to the citizen of Jamaica, then something is seriously wrong and the situation is hopeless. You know, I should have thought that the government and court and justice system of Jamaica would be a bastion of support for the rights of the Jamaican citizen, and that wouldn't have to be told to anyone in that situation at this point in time. Right? Why is it that the government of Jamaica, and I use that term in the widest sense, not necessarily, I'm not talking now just of the political government. Why does not the government of Jamaica see itself in such terms? And why, if what is being alleged is criminal offences committed in Jamaica, then why was not the evidence presented to a Jamaican court and the trial held in Jamaica? And as I asked earlier this morning, would a citizen of the United States in similar circumstances be sent to Jamaica for trial? Then why must a citizen of Jamaica be sent to the United States for trial, especially after the prejudicial statement made by the President of the United States? Why? We call ourselves independent and a nation. Well, I sincerely hope that the people of Jamaica will have been listening to that. Right? I have no means of knowing at this point whether Donovan Williams is guilty of a crime. I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying that he is. But as a citizen of Jamaica, one should have hoped that he would have had certain rights, and that those rights would not only have been respected by the government of Jamaica, but that the government of Jamaica would have seen itself as being there to defend those rights, whether of Donovan Williams or of any other citizen of Jamaica. And you other citizens of Jamaica who are listening to this, you see where you are. Okay. Hello.
Afternoon, Mutty.
Good afternoon, Mr.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. I see West Portland has now become a garrison.
Yes, that's what I'm calling. I heard your discussion earlier, and I'm actually sending out a letter to the Gleaner, and actually a statement, but I just wanted to get the opportunity as quickly as possible to say that at no time did I mention the word garrison in my deliberations on Saturday, or have I mentioned it in the past. If you look at the body of the article, as I heard you referring to, I mean, I can't think of how a prediction of 3,000 votes out of a victory of 3,000 votes out of a total electorate of 17,000 could indicate anything near
remotely resembling
a garrison. Basically, the meeting was a Buff Bay Divisional Conference, which was just getting the workers together and making sure that everything was in place. And of course, based on my canvases, etc., I made a prediction. But I don't understand where the word garrison comes from, especially being quoted as something that I said, when nothing else in the article relates or resembles anything.
Yes.
To do with a garrison.
Yes.
But
hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back with you, Mr. Vaz.
You know, I just, and I'm going to keep you long, I just want to say to you that I've been there for 1 year, and whether I've been opposed or unopposed, the level of campaigning has been at the highest level, incident-free, and my win in West Portland will be based on my performance and my acceptance by the people of West Portland and by no other means. So I just want to leave that and let you know that categorically deny using the word garrison either on Saturday or any time before or any time in the future, and deal strictly with performance and positive campaigning.
I'll tell you something. We're putting through a telephone call to the Gleaner to see whether we can get hold of Mr. Garth Davis, who is the reporter that.
Well, I must be honest here, Mutty. The Gareth Davis is the local correspondent for the Gleaner Company.
Oh, I see.
In Portland.
In Portland.
Somebody who I know, and somebody who has always...
What's his name? Gareth?
Gareth Davis.
Oh, Gareth Davis.
And he has always been one who has been... he's a Portlander, and he has covered the politics of Portland very unbiasedly. And to me, he's a journalist of integrity. So I'm sure that if he did make a mistake, I'm sure that he will clarify it when the time comes. But I'll be sending a letter to them. As a matter of fact, it's on the way down there to them now, asking them to make a clarification in the papers. And as I said, I don't want to judge anybody wrongfully based on the experience that I've had with all of the media down there.
Yes.
But it is an unfortunate statement, especially in a time when our politics is moving away from that sort of
Well, I should have thought, Mr. Vaz, that if you had said that West Portland is a garrison, that would have been the lead paragraph in the story.
Absolutely, and I go further, Mutty, because I'm a straight shooter. There has been so many things that have been covered in Portland by the Gleaner in relation to activities that I have had that usually make it up to Saturday. If you saw the newspaper, they have around Jamaica a little thing in the newspaper sharing different stories.
Yes.
Well, that is where my stories usually end up after getting extensive coverage by the local Gleaner correspondent. So when I saw this big bold headline today, it didn't surprise me because it was sensational, and obviously the one line that was misquoted in there was used as a headline instead of the basis of the story.
Yes.
Because I don't know, if I'm speaking about a prediction of 3,000 votes and my election machinery workers getting them ready, I don't know where that is associated with garrison type politics, or Portland or West Portland being any part of a garrison.
Well, that doesn't sound like the kind of result that one expects in Sister Peace constituency.
Well, there you go. But as I said to you, Mutty, I don't want to blow it out of proportion, but I'm sure that after the letter gets to them, they will do their investigation and the necessary clarification and things from them will be forthcoming.
All right, Mr.
Voss. Leave it to an unfortunate incident.
Okay.
All right, my brother.
Thank you very much for calling. Okay, hello? Hello?
What's that? The what?
Hello, not hearing you.
Oh. Hello?
Yes, hello?
How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Oh, yes, I'm talking a little louder now. You hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Perfect. The question not bad.
Hello?
Good. Question I'd love to ask you. Why are you not at the university getting some journalists ready to take over and to assist you in the kind of impeccable work that you do?
Hello, that is not my sphere, you know, sir.
What?
And I don't think that the university would want me to be there.
No, but you don't. You're not thinking that the university wanting you to be there is one story. I mean, on the other hand, does the university need you there?
I haven't got a PhD, you know, sir.
No. I have a PhD myself. But the fact of the matter is that from where I have grown to the point of a PhD, you have substantially assisted me. I have nearly 100 tapes of your program stocked away in my house, because one of the things that I worry myself about is that the day you come offline, what the hell do I do? What is it that what do I listen to? The fact of the matter is that you're a very analytical journalist. You are impartial. You are quote-unquote objective, and the fact is that I did some inquiry the other day, and I found out that the university, meaning Carimac, you may say it's true or false, invited you on a couple of occasions to speak with our journalists there, and you just didn't find the time.
Invited me to speak. That? I remember one occasion on which I was invited to speak to journalists there.
Yes.
I remember one occasion.
Did you go?
I did, yes.
You went?
Yes.
But you can't remember any other time that...
No, I can't remember any other time that I was invited.
I don't know. I am a little nervous about the fact that, okay, you are not a young man. Agreed?
I am not sure about that, sir.
You're not a young man. No, you're not a young man. And I am wondering to myself, when you come off air, what the hell does happen in terms of journalism? Because
in terms of what?
Journalism. Because
I don't know. I suppose
no. You do know. Of course you know. The fact of the matter is that the journalism that you offer to Jamaica, when I hear people like you speak about a journalist must be skeptical. In other words, a journalist doesn't just get up and report what is report. The Prime Minister said something is so. A journalist has to be someone who is analytical. I don't quite hear a lot of that happening around the country. If I don't come to Power 106 at 10 o'clock, then I hear people reporting, well, the Prime Minister clarified it, so this is so. So now that the Prime Minister clarified, let us move on with our lives. That's not the kind of journalism that I get from you. Huh?
Well,
and the question is to you, what is going to be your legacy to this country? Because after the day you decide I cannot be bothered with this thing anymore, how does it continue? That is the question I would love to ask you. And I would love to for you to answer it without any level of skepticism, any level of kind of skewedness. It's just an objective question. What happens after Wilmot Perkins in the field of journalism in this country?
Well, I should hope that there will be others who will come forward and
what others?
And
where?
do as well and better.
Come from where? Where are they going to come from?
Right here in Jamaica, sir.
Oh, you know that for true?
Eh?
You're
no, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about the future for sure. But I can only hope.
I'm a student of journalism myself.
Eh?
I'm a student of journalism myself.
A student of
journalism.
Oh yeah. You are?
Yes, I went to Carmack myself. And just doing a little comparative analysis. I had to do for my studies a comparative study between. Well, I chose it. Wilmot Perkins versus Blue Dawn as regards analytical skills and being objective in journalism. And having studied the two, and having listened to what I have heard of journalism on other programs, I mean, I've heard PhDs coming out of the university, and all you can hear is that me a ragashanti, me come from down at the ghetto, and people and man and boy have to start to learn to live good. And me not like the arms, those who are good. No. The question is, sometimes you knock us PhDs. I mean, I quite agree with you. You knock us PhDs, and I quite agree with you. I'm in perfect agreement with you. You come out to the ghetto, and you name yourself Ragashanti. I don't know what Ragashanti is supposed to mean. But the fact of the matter is, boy have to learn to live good. Now, I don't know what example does that perpetrate to any of the younger students or those who should be aspiring after you in a particular society. Now, one of the things that is so distinguishable about you, you speak to the entire nation, you speak to the entire world, and at the end of the day, whatever you need to put across, you put across in standard English at a level that would classify you at the basic minimum as a journalist. Now, I personally don't think that a journalist need to denigrate themselves to the level at which may I come from to impact on your community, because at the end of the day, the community needs to see someone who is coming out of there as being distinguished and being called a PhD and say, listen, he was a part of us. And what I hear around the rum bar and part of the corners and that kind of thing is not what I'm hearing out of him. And I would aspire to be like him. That is what makes you a distinguished journalist. And at the end of the day, I want you to ask yourself the question, what is it that you are going to be doing to leave as a legacy to this country, to the quality of journalism that you have perpetrated across this world? That's what I want to know.
All right, sir. I'll think about it.
You will think about it.
All right.
And when will you answer me?
Eh?
When will you answer me?
As soon as I have thought about it. All right? Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to read some email for you.
Mr. Perkins, on the matter of Trafigura, I think there are a lot of questions that are still left hanging. For instance,
that's right, true.
There was a report of a meeting in New York between representatives from Trafigura and members of this government.
Oh, I can't remember that.
If it was at this meeting that the deal involving the money, donation, commercial business, whatever, was made, then this certainly would involve the New York police, at least, in view of the fact that the money has now been returned. It involves the PNP executive who met either in Jamaica or in New York with influence peddling, in view of the fact that the contract for haulage of the Nigerian oil was due for renewal. What do you think?
Yes, I certainly agree with you that there is a very significant number of questions that still need to be answered on that traffic euro issue. Okay?
Mr. Perkins, on the matter of Venezuelan Hugo Chavez, have you read that he's on a campaign to nationalize foreign-owned oil and other companies? Please check if this is correct, Mr. Perkins. Please check if this is correct, Mr. Perkins.
Well, I know that he's a socialist and wants to reintroduce or introduce socialism to Venezuela and to create a kind of socialist alliance in the hemisphere. I don't know.
Mr. P.
Maybe he thinks that Castro is getting old and it's time that he took up the mantle.
Mr. P., can you find out if Mr. Hilton, Mr. Noel Hilton, was paid for a fee for the Sanders report that he was or hasn't done? And if so, how much?
Good question.
Mr. Perkins, on this matter of Cricket World Cup, if the PNP and the Prime Minister really love poor people, why are they persecuting honest little tradesmen like Herbert?
Why are they doing that?
Persecuting honest little tradesmen like Herbert, who used to sell fruit by the library in Discovery Bay. He had a clean stall, good fruit, and was strictly honest and polite. He has 2 small children, and this was his only source of livelihood. Just before the cricket match began, some cowboys, they claim to have been sent by NWA, smashed up his stall, which was set far back from the road on a vacant land. To what end? If this administration is against roadside vendors, then it still had and still has an obligation to provide suitable and accessible market space for them to make an honest living. A little market had been planned for Discovery Bay. What happened to it? It has been in ruin for the past 18 years, while men like Herbert are robbed of a living for a short time to make this country appear more prosperous and world-class than it really is. Hi, Mutty, did you know that this much hyped CWC opening ceremony broadcast, which I hear people like Senator Delano Franklin hyping all over the media, did you know that it was not carried on television in India?
In where?
In India.
In India, yeah, I've heard that, yes.
Yes. Another concern, which I know friends of mine had, was the exorbitant cost of traveling to the Caribbean and the ridiculous hotel rates between 500 and 800 US per night. It is said that the Indian visitors who came here for the cricket are mostly from the United States and Canada. Mr. Perkins, remember that we get most of our visitors in tourism from North America. Some of them don't even know that a cricket is not something that eats leaves.
Yes.
And
well, I see the Canadians. I see the Canadians have a team here. So.
And finally, Mr. Perkins, could you find out what CPTC, how much it cost the government to produce this documentary on the history of the life of the former Prime Minister?
Good question. Very good question. Okay, thank you very much. Later on you have some more?
Yes.
Okay. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, yes?
Hello, good evening.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Hello? Yes?
Yes, I'd like to speak to Mr. Perkins.
Speaking, Mom.
Pardon?
I'm speaking to you.
I am holding.
I am the beast, Mom.
Pardon?
I am the idiot called Perkins.
Oh, you can't control the baby for me now, man.
Hello?
Yes.
I am Perkins.
Oh, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, Mom.
Oh, yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
I have a very peculiar story here, sir.
Uh-huh.
I want to control the baby. When I was born, sir.
Yes.
I was given a name at birth. But after, for some reason, my parents decided to call me another name.
Yes.
Sometimes after I decided to travel, I applied for a passport. They said, well, I would have to get the name changed because I went to school in that name that they called me. I was married and all my business was in that name.
Uh-huh.
So they said then I would have to change it by default.
Yes.
I went through all the procedure and get a default from 1981.
Uh-huh.
And I've been traveling to states, United States, Canada. I sponsor my children and everything.
Uh-huh.
And now they said that the passport should be changed.
Wow.
Because you know that they are getting new passports.
Oh, that, yes.
I went to the send up, get birth certificate paper, apply for birth certificate. It take me a year to get the certificate. And now I went and applied to for the passport. Lo and behold, Mr. Perkins, somebody sent back to say the depot was not completed. After 27 years I've been traveling all about.
The depot was not completed?
It's not completed, so I cannot get a new passport.
What in heaven's name is going on?
I never hear this when I was born.
Have you been in touch with the RGD?
No, when I do all the procedure, then I take it to this, what you would call them? No, the people who send in the passport, no.
Yes, the passport office. No, but the point is that the RGD was supposed to have completed the deed poll.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
And the passport office is telling you that the RGD did not complete it. Although you paid to have it completed. Am I right?
I don't know, Mr. Perkins, because as I said, it's 27 years I've been...
Yes, I know, but you didn't pay to have it completed. Didn't you pay for the deed poll?
Yes, I paid for the deed poll.
Well, get in touch with the RGD.
And have the stamped passport, deed poll coming from registration.
You have a copy of it?
Yes, I have a copy.
Well...
And I send in with the passport. The old passport now to get the new one.
Yes. Well, look here.
Yes.
I don't understand what is happening here.
I don't know.
Whether this is idiocy on the part of the passport office or on the part of the RGD.
Yes.
But the RGD has given you a copy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Don't put that copy into the hands of anybody.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Lock it up. Well, first of all, go and get it copied.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Get a number of copies done of it.
Yes.
And take one of them to the passport office and show it to them. Don't give them the original one.
Yes.
Tell them that is what you got from the RGD.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So how can they be telling you that the deed poll was not completed. I don't understand that. Then how did they give you a passport in the deed poll corrected name? Right?
Yes.
How come?
I could not obtain a passport without I changed the name.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then since I've been traveling, I changed several passports. They give me one that was the what they call them first. When you didn't go back to them, when you never have to go back. Indefinite. They give me that one.
The what is called?
The indefinite.
Oh, indefinite, yes.
That you wouldn't have to go back to them.
Yeah.
Then afterward, no, they said they're taking them in back and then going to give 10 years.
Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
You know what that sounds like, Mom?
Yes, sir.
It sounds like a means of digging some more money out of you for the tax, for the consolidated
That's
fund.
exactly what's going on, Mr.
Right?
Perkins.
Eh?
And I don't know what to do now because my children is in the States, in Canada and other places that I visit every year. And now they're refusing to give me a passport to travel.
And the RGD has given you...
Mr. Perkins, RED?
RGD, the Registrar General's Department.
Oh, yes.
They have given you a birth certificate.
Yes.
And in your converted name.
Yes.
Yes. And the passport office is saying that who are they to say that the name change was not completed?
Completed.
The people who tell you that are the RGD, right?
No, but they send me now even the new one that they said they want. Because they wouldn't take the old one, they want a new one which I paid for now. It take a year for me to get it. And I just get it back now. Take it to this agent now along with one passport that already up and the new one now that is using. They clip together. I travel on that several times. And I send that now because they say they want to change them and to give new ones. And now they refuse from give me because the depot was not being completed. After 27 years I have been traveling.
How much it cost you for the depot?
The depot?
Yeah.
My great, I don't even remember now, Mr. Perkins. Because like me say, it's 27 years.
27 years ago?
27 years I've been traveling from 1980. So me not even remember how much me did pay for the depot now. But I know after I go through all the procedure, then you go to the mall somewhere on King Street there, and that was where...
All right, I tell you what.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to give, off the air, give your name and the two names and the telephone number.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
And we'll call the passport office.
Yes.
And ask them about this.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks a lot, Mr. Perkins.
Okay. Hello? Hardships there are, but the land is green and the sun shineth. And the color of that lady's face represents hardship in the flag. And the faces of 98% of Jamaicans put into the flag. They're, since I've been talking about it on there was some talk of changing the meaning of it. But their original reason for putting black in the flag was to symbolize hardship. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perkins.
Yes?
This is Patricia Campbell. I'm calling on the behalf of the same lady that just called a while ago.
Yes.
The depot. I depot my surname. I changed it from a surname to another surname. And the birth certificate, Mr. Perkins, is the same surname. I'm not getting the surname that I depot off.
Yes.
So I want to know what is the problem why I can't get it off.
No, but if you paid for the deed poll and you have your receipts.
Yes, Mr. Perkins, and I have the green form.
And did you get a certificate? Did you get a certificate in the new name?
No, Mr. Perkins.
You didn't?
No, Mr. Perkins.
Well, ask them what has happened. You paid for the deed poll. You have a receipt for the payment.
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
Make a copy of that receipt.
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
Put up the receipt very carefully. And send a copy to the Registrar General's Department, right? And ask them how long ago was this?
I did it last year.
Oh, last year?
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
And it isn't done yet?
And I went out.
Well, ask them.
I went out there, and the lady at the front desk said the information and told me, said the green paper, what them give as a depot, that is the birth certificate.
That's the birth certificate?
I tell her, I need a birth certificate for him to take G-Sat. And she told me, the name not going to change. If I do get by the birth certificate, the same name that I depot is going to come back on it.
But I don't understand that.
I don't understand it, Mr. Perkins, because 2 years time I'm going to take G-Sat and it's going to be confusion.
Boy, I don't know. When we haven't got enough trouble, we make some,
I don't know, Mr. Perkins. It's like I have to reach back up my RGD because 2 years time when I'm protect the G-Sat.
Yes.
I don't want to wait so long that you're going to hear that we are neglectful mothers.
Yes, indeed.
So I had to go out there now and look about it because I need the right birth certificate.
Yes, indeed. All right?
All right, Mr. Perkins.
And let us know what happened.
Yes.
Good. What happens? Okay, hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. P.
Hi, how you doing?
Not too bad, it's raining cats and dogs.
I can imagine so. It's raining in Kingston.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, that caller, that gentleman who has got a PhD.
Yes.
And he spoke about you. I want to associate with every word he said about you. I have listened. I've had the privilege of listening to Richard Dimbleby, David Dimbleby, Randolph Churchill, and I place you 20-odd years ago. I placed you in the same bracket of journalism with those journalists, those noted journalists. So, I'm not worried.
You're trying to bust my head now.
No, I'm not busting your head at all. I'm being factual. Well, let me bust your head with this one. Breaking news. Jamaica's got oil, but we haven't found it yet. We don't know whether it's on the north coast or the south coast.
We know we have the oil.
Yes.
But we don't know where it is.
We don't know where it is.
We haven't located it.
What a piece of damn nonsense. Then to compound the whole thing, where's the editorial of the Gleaner? Your schoolmate that you wasn't in school with, he's in a committee.
Yes.
For cricket.
Oh, yes.
And the Gleaner is baffled like me. What is his function?
God alone knows. I don't know.
And he's got Sir Alistair McIntyre with him and a couple more. What is his function in cricket? You understand?
Yes.
Because I could tell him cricketers that he never hear about. And he never said them either.
But he seems to be becoming more and more active. I don't know why.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what is his role.
Maybe he thinks that Sister P isn't working as well as he hoped that she would. And he doesn't want to live in a Jamaica where there's a JLP government,
Well, he could always go to Trinidad. Because Trinidad is fond of offering us thing and then backing out at the last minute.
Well, I'm not sure that
you don't think that's fair?
I'm not sure that we're being fair to the Trinidadians, sir. There was never, as I understand it now, a contract.
There was never a contract.
No, there was a memorandum of understanding.
So,
and hold on. One of the memoranda was signed by Mr. Patterson.
Yes.
In what year was it? 203.
204.
204 or 3?
No, 204.
204, all right. One was signed then.
Yes.
And Sister P decided to sign it over in 2006,
Yes.
which is an admission
Yes.
that
Yes. Yes.
validity of it,
Yes.
the force of it
Yes.
was, if there had been a document signed
Yes.
in 2004
Yes.
that had a forceful validity,
Yes.
then there would have been no need to sign it over again.
There wouldn't be any need to sign it over again.
No. So what is happening is that they were merely sort of talking and saying, yes, we would love to do this, and
Yes.
we'll try and see how it can be done. Right?
Yes.
The Trinidadians have found that they can't do it. So I don't see why everybody is cursing them.
Okay.
I really don't see that.
You really don't see it.
No.
Anyway.
And in any event,
Yes.
what are we asking for, sir? We're asking for a subsidy. I heard a Trinidadian journalist discussing this on one program this morning, I think it was.
Yes.
What we're asking Trinidad to do, subsidize our production of alumina?
Yes.
Why?
Well, perhaps that's what we are doing.
What are we subsidizing for the Trinidadians?
Well, the bauxite. This is,
Which bauxite?
This is, some years to come, we're going to set up a plant to employ 30,000 more people.
Where?
Near Alcoa, in Alcoa, I suppose.
In Jamaica, yes, all right.
Yeah.
And how will that be subsidizing Trinidadians?
Because you want the liquefied natural gas from them.
Yes, but we are asking, we want to get this liquefied natural gas.
Yes.
At some kind of preferential price?
I suppose so.
What?
Under this CARICOM thing. Under this CARICOM thing.
Yes.
It's an entitlement, they would have us believe.
I see.
Okay.
So we're looking to the British to give us reparations for slavery.
Yes, yes.
And if we get the amount that we want, we'll be able to sort of live comfortably in idleness for the rest of our...
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
And then we expect the Trinidadians to subsidize us.
Give us a ease up.
And what are we expecting from the Bajans?
I don't know what we're going to get from them, but we could look around.
And the people of St. Kitts and Antigua and the rest of them?
Well, you see.
So I'm sure we are developing the reputation of scroungers.
No, but the way we are spending money, if you listen this morning on the Breakfast Club,
yes,
you'll hear we have a thing named medical tourism. You hear that one this morning?
Yes,
medical tourism.
Well, I heard them talking initially about it, and I went elsewhere.
And they're spinning because we don't have any medical thing in place for our people.
Yes.
But they say it's something that.
Well, I hear that there were cockroaches in the what's the name of that military hospital?
Oh, yes, the one up in Washington.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So, maybe the Kingston Public Hospital will do.
Yes. Medical tourism.
Yes.
I wonder what that is all about. If we're going to look about people abroad and our people here can't get.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
Medical treatments and so on are very expensive in the United States, right?
Yes.
And it is arguable that if we could produce the quality of a high quality of
Medicare.
medicine, yes, Medicare,
yeah,
that we could possibly get people coming here to do procedures.
One of the gentlemen.
But we're going to have to improve one hell of a lot.
One hell of a lot.
Yes.
One of the gentlemen this morning said that 40 billion a year is coming from that, and there are some rich people from Nigeria. There's some rich people from Nigeria top of the class Nigerian who possibly we could give them some inducement to come here for medical care.
Yes.
Now, Nigeria, when you hear about that one, it boggles the mind. Listen to last week. There was 50 years of independence in Ghana. Ghana had 50 years of independence.
Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. Back online.
When Ghana get independence, Kwame Nkrumah led the independence march. They had 4 million, the population was 4 million. And he locked up a lot of people, his best friend, and he was deposed in a coup. All right. Now, we had a man come here the other day. He came here a few years ago named Jerry Rawlings, Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings.
Yes.
Then after, they had elections, and the present President John Kufuor won. They only have 4 years term. And they had a celebration last week. It's analogous to to one we're having here. 21 million people the population has risen to. And they spent 21 million celebrating. $21 million celebrating their independence.
$1 ahead.
Yes, and that was the time Macmillan went to Africa and says the wind of change is blowing across Africa. You understand?
Yeah.
And they extol all the virtues of Kwame Nkrumah. And he built a statue to himself. He built a bronze statue to himself in Accra.
Yes. And had a gold bed in his bedroom.
Yes. And Ghana is still in trouble. Still in trouble economically.
Well, which one of them is not?
Now look at the other one, Zimbabwe, where we're playing them today.
Oh, Lord.
15 black men bust up Morgan Shangirai head. 15 at one stage. He went down to the station in Harare because they had a prayer meeting for the stadium in Harare. So he went. So they stopped him and he said, and tell him turn back because there's no prayer meeting. Anyway, they arrested some of his men, so he went down there to get them bailed.
And they beat him?
They beat the old hell, cracked his skull, broke his right arm. He came out. The wicked white people never call and say, no, that's wrong. Margaret Beckett, the foreign minister from England, have to call the United Nations and tell him. And you know what Mugabe says? He invited it on himself. He invited it on himself.
You know, sir?
Yeah.
I once came across Mr. Mugabe.
Yes.
In India.
Yes.
I didn't actually meet him. I mean, but
yes.
Attended a small press conference.
Yes.
That he had.
Yes.
And I formed the impression at that time that he was not a man that I would like to buck up on a dark road.
Certainly not.
Along the road one night.
Certainly not. The man is a spinner, a talented twister.
Not only that, I think he's rough and crude and capable of great cruelty.
Great cruelty. They beat up this fellow. And one was going the other day, wanted to go to Belgium and statue there. And they gave him a thorough going over. About 8 men descended on him, beat him up and cracked his skull too. And then you're telling me, look, when the boat and whosoever going back to Africa from Jamaica, don't put me on that boat. I want to go volunteer to go look how they live.
And what these people ought to what good in all the years that he has been in power in Zimbabwe, what good has he done for that country?
80% unemployment, 80%. Inflation is 1,700%.
Look, sir, don't keep talking those figures.
Don't.
You're going to make Omar Davis feel good.
Possibly. Yes, it might make him feel good.
Oh, of course.
But what do we want in this? What we want in this little place? What we want?
In a moment, you're going to have him telling you that what are you complaining about?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Incidentally, have you heard Dr. Phillips's speech?
That's it. Yes, I heard it.
What did you think of it?
I heard it. You know, on the education part, he struck the nail on the head.
Oh, yes, he did.
He struck the nail on the head.
And I was expecting to hear Mrs. Maxine Henry Wilson coming out to talk about the state of the security system.
He struck it straight on the L. You know, I couldn't hit the Honorable Dr. Peter Phillips for what he said.
But he gave Dr. Davis some big lick too.
Yes, yes.
Oh boy.
The economy.
But when he talks like that, what is he saying? We're approaching an election. And what is the message that he's sending? That the People's National Party has been a colossal failure in office?
Gross ineptitude, failure, that's what put me where we are at this juncture. That is where we're at this stage of the game.
Yes.
You understand? And I think he's a very truthful bloke, I think he is. And
Dr. Phillips.
Dr. Phillips. Very truthful fellow he is. I want to congratulate him too.
But he is not only saying that Maxine Henry Wilson's ministry is in a mess, but his own is too.
He is. It is. But he says it's because finance.
Yes, well,
He would have been out of the mess if he had finance.
Dr. Davis has messed it all up.
Had messed it all up. Mr. Moneybag. You understand? He carried the bag and he borrowed. I'm wondering if they're going to censure him for going. He says he wasn't going to borrow any more money.
But if the Labour Party knows anything about campaigning,
yes,
they would just get hold of a tape of that speech and go around to their various meetings playing it.
I'm wondering how they didn't put one of the tape under your door.
Yes, indeed. Not a soul has done it yet.
Somebody is missing.
But give them time.
Give them time. Okay, Zapi.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. All the best to you. Okay, hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Is that Mr. Perkins?
Yes, it is.
It's a great pleasure. I am a visitor to these islands.
Oh, lovely.
From England.
Welcome.
I was born just in England, in Wolverhampton in the Midlands, but I now work 30 miles outside of London as a doctor of medicine.
Yes.
And I have Jamaican parents.
Yes.
And since 1979, would you believe it, I've been trying to get in contact with you when you've had your talk shows. This is the first time. Since 1979, I've been listening to you over various networks.
Oh,
each time I come to Jamaica every 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
And the first thing I do when I come to this beautiful island is to find out which station you're on so I can listen to your wisdom.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, and I wanted to follow up on what an earlier caller said about what your legacy should be, or what you're going to think about as your legacy, because for me, and I'm sure for countless others, you have given people like me, I'm black, I'm proud to be black, and I work in England, I'm a doctor, and a lot of the Jamaicans by second, third generations look up to someone like me, and when they ask me, what have you learned in your life? I said, you should listen to people with wisdom and experience, and I would urge them to listen to someone like you, and perhaps they're not privileged like myself to be able to come here and tune into your radio program. So my suggestion for your legacy, and I'm sorry, I feel humble in your presence, but if I'm sure you must have written books, but if you haven't written books,
no, I haven't.
You must write a book and commit your experience of your fight for the ordinary Jamaican, your fight against injustice, your wit, your discernment, your experiences. For example, I can't remember when it was, I was listening to one of your talk shows, and you told us about the Bank of Jamaica found in a car park exchanging Jamaican dollars for foreign exchange.
Yes. Hold on just a moment for me, please. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here with you, sir.
Yes, hello. Well, I'm hoping that you will commit to writings, either by an autobiography or by a series of diaries, your experiences and memories, fond or otherwise, of your vocation where you have served this beautiful people on this island over decades in your ceaseless desire to be an advocate for the ordinary man and to inform and educate the Jamaican. And I'm just wondering whether that would be possible. And if I'm sure if you could make that book available, I would certainly try and sell it on your behalf in England.
All right, I'll think about that.
Yeah, but seriously, it is important that people in Jamaica realize that they are at a very difficult time. For instance, in England, we apparently have the 5th largest economy in the modern world.
Yes.
And yet the education system has contrived to ensure that black Afro-Caribbean boys are the most prejudiced against and the least likely to achieve any kind of positive position or role in society. They are the greatest percentage in the criminal justice system, held in prison. They are formed the majority in the mental health institutions. And in England, I don't know if you've been over recently, but don't believe what they say. There is still institutionalized racism in that society, and though it's covered up and covert. And the people who suffer the most happen to be young black boys who their heads are turned by the American rap, by the aspirations to achieve riches beyond comprehension, which they will never achieve. So they join gangs, they deal with drugs, and at the moment now there is a section of the expatriate West Indian community who represent an underclass who the authorities stereotype and ridicule. Now, your wisdom, your discernment would be an inspiration to people like these in the depths of their frustration. So I would urge you, as an international long-standing listener and fan of yours, Mr. Perkins, that you commit something to writing so that we can pass this on to future generations. Never underestimate the power of the word, and never underestimate your value and the immense pleasure that you've given people like me.
But you know, what you're telling me is that you too have a book to write. Because in the face of all that you said about racism and the disadvantages that young blacks find themselves in, you somehow managed to overcome all of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, but again,
and that is a story that needs to be told.
Well, this is what we're doing at the moment in our local Afro-Caribbean Association. Mm-hmm. Because when the latest statistics came out in the education, where it showed that the Chinese and the Asians were up there with the English white children, and languishing at the bottom were the black Afro-Caribbean, and not even the Africans. It's not a question of just being black, but for some reason these people were there, and they feel lost. There is no identity that they can relate to. Mm-hmm. And I understand their schizophrenia, because I come here and this is my second home. But what I would urge you to do, I know I have my experiences, but I too look for inspiration from people like you, and I would say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So I would not want to imitate you other than to say that do as Wilmot says, not as I do. So I fear for your safety on many occasions. Please live a good long life, but listen, put your words down in writing so that people like me and others can profit from them. I urge you to do that, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
And all the best to you. Have a good holiday. Okay, we have some more email.
Yes, Mr. Perkins, this one has to do with the recent discussion on reparation. Dear Mr. Perkins, I hear you often say on your program that we are still using the model of the plantation, which has divided our society between us and them. They are not worth anything, and any atrocity to them is not important. I therefore go back to my argument with you, that in spite of the time that has passed, this long outstanding behavior is a dysfunction that we still have as a people. And it is therefore my considered opinion that this behavior has to be treated as a dysfunction. You cannot tell a person that has low self-esteem and has a dependency syndrome to snap out of it. That will not work. Therefore, I strongly feel that we have to open up the Pandora box and look squarely at what happens to us as a people and treat it in the same way that you treat a dysfunction, by giving them practical information, letting them know what exactly took place and why they are at this unhealthy perspectives of themselves. Then you will have to give them an opportunity to make the necessary changes and put the past behind them in a determination to select a more healthy lifestyle for all of us as a country.
But part of what we need is the kind of leadership that will treat the people of this country with respect and will teach them to respect themselves. And in that connection, bear in mind, there are all kinds of things that happen, right? But not the least of them is what Mr. Frank Phipps was writing about in that statement that he issued to the media this morning. Right? Here is a Jamaican citizen being treated in a way that, does not suggest that he really is worth anything and that he has any rights that are worth considering. And that is how he's being treated by the Jamaican government. Now, what do we expect for him when we send him off to the United States?
Hi, Mr. Perkins. I was just listening to the Irish radio station RTE1 on the internet, and they had a reporter reporting on World Cup cricket from Kingston. Very interesting. On this particular show, they were talking about how well the Irish were doing, and as the conversation went back and forth, some of the facts that emerged are quite sad. At one point, the reporter told the audience that the Irish team was staying at a 4-hour drive from Kingston, and described the drive over the mountains to Kingston and the potholes. He basically said he had never seen potholes like these before. The sizes, and they were unreliable.
What an honest, truthful man he is.
The host then said that he had heard that Jamaica was a most dangerous place. At which the reporter replied yes. And then he went on to say that some people were upset with him for reporting on that fact. However, he went on to say that yesterday, Sunday, he took a taxi, and when they were going through Spanish Town, there was a shootout. And the taxi man refused to go through the town. The taxi man only agreed to continue the journey if he would allow him to turn back and go around the long way. The reporter said that after the game on Saturday, I guess the Irish were all celebrating at that time, the police were leaving Sabina Park, and they, the police, were recommending that they, the Irish, leave before with them, because the place was very dangerous after dark. So, there you go, Mr. Perkins. Whatever mileage the Jamaican government or the tourist industry was hoping to get out of World Cup cricket, it might all be for naught. I guess it's very hard to hide the facts. On a lighter note, I have a friend, a fellow Jamaican, who went to Ireland just for 10 days with his Irish girlfriend. She's from Wester Island, very rural, and somewhat out of the way. Well, there happens to be a Chinese restaurant in that town, and they went there one day for lunch. And would you believe it, Mr. Perkins, that the owner of the restaurant is a Chinese Jamaican from Kingston?
Oh?
He could not believe it.
Where is this, in Dublin?
Yes, in Ireland, west of Ireland, very rural.
Uh-huh.
He didn't think he would meet up with another Jamaican in that part of the world. As it turns out, the Chinese Jamaican had been operating that restaurant for 5 years, and he told him that he had basically left Jamaica because of the crime. Mr. Perkins.
And he expects the Irish to come here as tourists.
I was listening to the statement being read.
By World Cup cricket.
I was listening to the statement being read. The Jamaican people seem to think that they are independent. Well, look around. The evidence is to the contrary. May I suggest the evidence dictates that when the US and the UK are involved, there is still no independence. Look at the dominant currency in Jamaica. Look at the pictures that are hung in the schools. May I suggest that Jamaica is simply a state of the USA?
It's still what?
A state of the USA?
No, it is not a state of the USA. A state of the USA has rights and participates in the government of the United States. Are we taking a break, eh? We'll be back shortly. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online, and we have the captive with us again. Look here, I heard you in a discussion this morning on the Deacon's program. And you were talking about the stock market.
Sure.
The state of the stock market. Now, has the movement of the stock market got anything to do with government paper? What is happening with government interest rates? Right?
Yeah.
In other words, put it this way. A lot of these companies have been making a lot of profits, not out of putting their money back into the
real economy.
Into the real economy, by putting it into government's paper. Now, when government's rates are high, therefore, and government is borrowing a lot, they're more profitable and people are more inclined to buy them on the stock market.
Sure.
When the rates are brought down, as they have been recently, they're making less money.
Yes.
Is this what is causing the movement in the stock market?
That is part of it over the past couple of years. If you recall, the 2003-2004 period, the stock market really galloped on.
Yes.
And it was also the same time when we had the high interest rate.
Absolutely.
Trying to deal with the correction.
Yes.
So the financial sector stocks were the leading stocks in the stock market then.
Yes.
And they were benefiting primarily from monies invested in government paper.
But even companies that were not strictly financial were putting a lot of their profits into...
Carreras, had a lot of money.
Oh, they were famous for it.
Even companies like Jamaica Producers were making perhaps more money out of cash that they had trading rather than the bananas.
Yes.
So a number of companies which were cash rich did pretty well, as well, just because of the profits that came from that kind of endeavor. So with the interest rates now moderating significantly, the profits have gone down. So this is why the market is correcting itself, because the finance, the market looks at the ratios between the price and the earnings, and they do their maths and they determine whether or not a stock should be bought at that price, whether it's recoverable. So what we have seen is an adjustment to that. So it's kind of settling down now, but it's still not totally out of that situation, because a lot of the companies, like the major banks, are in transition. What they are now doing, they are pushing their loan portfolio to earn monies of getting loans out there. So there's a shift now from government paper to increasing loans, and that will take some time to build up. And thus you also see the companies which are not financial institutions getting more aggressive now in the real economy. So you see Jamaica producers involved in the UK market doing things there, Grace Kennedy as well, and all that. So there's more investment.
What is happening
the
there
economy.
is that they're putting their capital abroad.
Well, in some instances they are investing in ventures abroad. As well, because they want to earn both in Jamaica and abroad as well. Those who have the capacity to earn foreign exchange.
But part of the problem is, of course, that when you earn in Jamaica, you have to reckon on inflation. The high levels of inflation.
And we had very high levels up till last year. Inflation rate, we had single-digit inflation to about 2002, and then 2003, 2004, inflation was quite high.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All the best to you.
All the best to you too, sir.
I hope I haven't overextended your stay.
Anytime.
Okay, Mom. We are having some problems with that lady who called us on Friday.
Well, not problems really,
Not problems, no, but
we got an overwhelming response from all over the world: Switzerland, Germany, Japan, United States, England, Canada, all over.
People wanting to help.
One gentleman even came here personally, and as for the since morning, I've gotten 78 emails today. Everybody offering to help, and countless calls on Friday, during and after the calls, countless calls from all over the island and abroad, asking for her telephone number, which we had, and we only had a first name. We didn't know exactly where she came from, but we had to make sure that at least there was a person there, and it was somewhat authentic. We have so far satisfied ourselves that it was an authentic call, and we gave out some numbers who got in touch with her.
I wonder whether the better thing to do.
We got in touch with the victim support unit. We were sent it back to me, and they contacted her. Also, there isn't a similar organization, support group in Manchester, where she's from. The nearest one is Santa Cruz. We also contacted them.
But I wonder whether it wouldn't be good to try to get...
We also have put the matter...
Get to set up a bank to set up some kind of system that would help to manage. I mean, this sounds as if some quite considerable funds might come in.
Well, we have put the matter in the hands of Mr. Newton James, our general manager. And he... any such foundation or anything that will
I also gather that
emanate from him.
The police have called for a copy of the tape. I wonder why. Anyway, we take a break. We come back shortly. Incidentally, all those calls that were talked about that we're getting from all over the world, Japan, Germany, Switzerland, all over USA, England. We haven't yet got any from the first female Prime Minister of Jamaica, the great lover of the poor. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perkins.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Okay, a lady called earlier on about...
Would you speak up a bit for me?
Okay, there
Yes.
was a lady who had called earlier on about the D-poll.
Yes.
When a D-poll is done, it shows that the name that's on the original birth certificate has been changed.
Yes.
Okay, the D-poll is now becomes the birth certificate.
Yes.
Because the name that has been changed on the first one.
Yes.
You cannot use that name anymore to do whatever you're doing that is required of a birth certificate.
The original name.
Right.
Yes.
So the D-poll, as the lady said, her kid is supposed to do the GSAT sometime early. She can use the D-poll. That's the right thing to use. She can never use the original birth certificate from the house.
But she said that the passport office is telling her that the deed poll was not completed.
Oh, I'm not talking about that lady. That's the lady with the kid who is supposed to do the GSAT earlier on. I don't know when she's going to do it.
She's supposed to do what?
The GSAT. It's the exam for the kids from the primary school. That's the GSAT.
Oh, yes. That's the one you're talking about.
Right. Okay, the D-poll is the correct paper for her to use. She has got a problem. That's what I really call.
Yes, but she can't get it completed.
No, I heard her say that she asked the lady at the desk, what about the birth certificate? And the lady said, okay, the D-poll is the birth certificate. So she hasn't got a problem there.
All right. Will you hold on and give your information to somebody who will take it from you, right? So that we can check it. All right? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, Mrs. Perkins asked me to speak to you concerning the lady who called on Friday. Indeed, I got the number from your producer, and I went and I visited her on Saturday, and she's definitely authentic. I called the number, and she gave me directions as to where she lived, and I drove up there, saw her, and it was the very same person, the same voice and everything.
Yes.
So I gave her whatever support I
Yes.
I, in fact, gave her some money. So she's definitely authentic. Right.
Yes.
Pleasant person,
there was no such doubt in my mind about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
But nonetheless, it's nice hearing from you.
Yes. And she's really a pleasant person,
not only pleasant.
Person, and as I told her, she brought tears to her eyes.
She's the very soul of bravery.
Yes.
It brought tears to her eyes?
It brought tears to my eyes.
Oh, to your eyes?
When I heard it on Friday.
Yes.
So, see that I'm from the Mandeville area, I
yes.
I just,
What a strong woman.
Saturday. Yeah, man, really wonderful woman.
Yes. What I would like to see is a fun setup,
Yes, I think that would be the best thing, because I'm sure others heard it too.
Yes.
And they want to make a contribution also.
Yes, indeed. All right, sir.
Okay, Mr. Perkins.
Thank you very much. All the best to you.
Bye.
Okay, hello?
Hello, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, sir. Hi.
How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Not much time. Two things. That lady I heard that called you last week. The gentleman said a while ago, it almost brought tears to my eyes. I don't know one person could have gone through so much trauma. And I myself would like to make a donation.
And she's showing no sign of weakness,
No, that's the thing. She stood up.
And what she's concerned about now is her children.
Yes.
And
it really got to me, man, when she said her bigger daughter, they're going to high school, and she had to stop because there was no money, no lunch money, no bus fare, nothing.
Yes.
So she had to stop from school, and boy, I tell you, suffering in this country is...
I think it would be, we've had calls from so many places that I think the thing to do would be to try and set up a fund,
Yeah.
You know,
I
which
guess
could...
in the short run.
Eh?
I'm saying in the short run, she could need funds now for her kids.
Yes, she needs
to buy
that.
food and so on.
Yes.
And bus fare to school and so on.
But
I'd like to make a contribution.
Yes.
But I don't have her number. Could I get her number from you?
Well, I tell you what. Just, she isn't in here at the moment.
All right, until she comes back. I have one more thing I want to say to you.
Yes.
A gentleman spoke to you this morning, a British gentleman of Jamaican parentage.
Yes. A doctor.
He's a doctor, no?
Yes, so he said.
Okay. Well, I am of the firm belief, Mr. Perkins. He was saying that you should write a book. I think it would be a bestseller. It would sell here, it would sell internationally. You could leave the radio job that you're on now. You could be pretty well set for the rest of your life. But at least what the man was saying, with a man with your intellect and your experience, if you put those, I remember some time ago, I started reading you when I was a youngster in the 70s, when you used to write for the Gleaner. And my God, I just waited for the day to come when your article was coming out. Those days we used to quote Marx quite a bit, you remember? Karl Marx.
Yes, yes.
I was wondering if you were a Marxist. But obviously not. You read Marx quite a bit, And I don't know. Do you have those articles still, Mr. Perkins? You could put them together,
I think I do, yes.
You could put them together and I'm certain they would sell like wildfire, like hot bread. But seriously, sir, you should write a book.
Yes.
And it could serve for us folks. The university, I think, would buy it.
Why would they?
Well, it would be a good read for the students there. In some way, it would teach them how to think.
Oh, no.
And no, it would. I think it would be a bestseller. You should definitely do that, Mr. Perkins, before it's too late. Give it some serious thought, no, sir?
All right, I'll think about it.
All right, sir. Good.
Thank you very much. All the best to you. Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Mr. Perkins, it's Elizabeth Hall.
Hello?
It's Elizabeth Hall.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good.
Good.
You read my email, but what I failed to point out to you, that a dysfunction has two sides. The government is manifesting the other side.
Yes.
Because if they had any self-esteem, they could never treat people the way they do. And they are beggy.
Yes.
So it's two sides that are dysfunctional. So you have to deal with it.
Yes.
You can't tell them stop it.
Yes.
If we are really, really lucky and get a leader who has good self-esteem and is willing to do the things like changing the constitution and doing all the things that we would like to be put in place, that the people of Jamaica can have can be the people in charge.
Yes.
And not the parliament.
And can inspire people to think
exactly
more highly of themselves.
Yes, but that is if you are really, really lucky.
Yes.
It's not necessarily going to happen.
Well.
So to open up that Pandora's box and give people both the slave masters and the slaves, that they can see the role that they are playing.
Yes.
And see that it is not to their best interest.
Yes.
So they can really think about it and make a conscious decision for themselves that they want to change.
Yes.
But you can't just tell them to change. It will not happen. You know?
Yes.
So that's my point.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Nice hearing from you.
Good.
Okay, do we have time for another? Hello? Hello? They've all gone. Hello? No? Nobody come back? Okay. Okay, well, that's about it. brings us to the end of Perkins Online for today. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow, usual time, usual place, and we look forward to your company. So long.